Hi, I'm Joshua with the RadioWarrior.ca. We're going to talk about Terra Cloud Formations today. When I was a teen, I was quite interested in cloud seeding, mostly because my uncle was the head seismologist in the University of Washington, and back in the 70s, he used to seed clouds down in Texas because there was a great drought, which made me quite interested, and later on I became aware of geoengineering, better known as chemtrails or aerosol spraying, and then of course HAARP, the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. I live up in the Fraser Valley. The chemtrails here, as you can see, some of these shots are epic, and just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's been a real problem for us, and we try to make people aware of it just in our own community. But last week something sort of extraordinary happened. It's extraordinary for me because I never really noticed it before. Is I was out having a smoke with a friend of mine, and we thought a fire was starting in one of the gullies in the mountains, and we noticed that this fire that we thought was slowly starting to billow out into a large big cloud, and we were looking at various areas and noticed that it was happening all over the place. Now, clouds generally, and I have talked to one of the meteorologists and to Environment Canada and to some of the people there, and they basically say no, clouds form in the air. When warm air rises, it expands and cools. Cool air can't hold as much water vapor as warm air, so some of the vapor is condensed into tiny pieces of dust that float in the air and forms tiny droplets around each dust particle. When billions of these droplets come together, they become a visible cloud. That's basically their description and that of the internet. In meteorology, a cloud is an aerosol comprising a visible mass of liquid droplets or frozen crystals made of water or various chemicals. Hence what comes in with geoengineering. The droplets are particles are suspended in the atmosphere above the surface of the planetary body. Clouds are formed by the saturation of air in the hemisphere when air cools or gains water vapor. And you can see how easy it would be to integrate man-made chemicals, of course, to create yet another way of shadowing the sun from having its healing rays reach the earth. What we're finding with aerosol spraying, and this must be the reality, is that these chemicals that are being sprayed over our territories are coming down to the earth because of our heavy rains. They accumulate into gullies and places that we're seeing on our mountains and hilly areas around where we live up in the Fraser Valley. And with the right conditions, especially after a rain, are creating these massive formations of clouds. They are in the mountains, they form, and then sometimes we have a huge fog in the area just because of what's happening, and they sometimes start and stop as fast as they begin. It's just unbelievable watching it. So what I'm going to do is I've got a bunch of video footage here. I want you to go back and actually look at some of this that's going on. And please, my email at info@radiowarrior.ca, send me the links. Let me compile this information because Terra Cloud Formation is an important part if I'm not crazy, because what's going on is what I'm observing. And this is really important because science has become empirical in many ways, where from our cultural traditions of observance seem to mean very little to the dogma of scientific theory, which nowadays is under great scrutiny with such myths like global warming, now called climate change, geoengineering, to the heliocentric model of the Earth. Does it hold water? And is the geocentric model more plausible? And we're talking about this whole flat Earth theory. But I think some of these questions are really important because what is happening with HAARP and geoengineering, if we do live under some kind of protective covering, it's critical to the to these popular arguments. So if you see Terra Cloud Formations happening, videotape them. put them out on the internet, because there are some things going on. Of course, we're always the last to know, but observing and seeing with the naked eye is an important thing. It is science. And when we see things happening and they're wrong, like the clouds in the sky, they're not normal anymore. I tell people about it all the time. My poor wife, when I'm driving, I'll, take out my camera and start videoing, as you've seen in some of the footage here. I'll get out of the vehicle, or I'll rant and rave and try to get people to look up into the sky and see what's happening. Well, now we don't even have to look up very far. We can look on the earth and start to see formations of clouds, which the meteorologist said that this is, not really a possibility, or it would be a very rare occurrence. Well, it's not a rare occurrence, and it's happening with sort of an epic kind of way that I'm noticing. And just in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I want to put this posting up. Please share it, link it to your blogs, or the work that you're doing with trying to make people aware of geoengineering aerosol spraying. And thanks so much. My name is Joshua. I'm with RadioWarrior.ca. Come and check our website out and the links that we have, and have a wonderful day.